Hello? Hey there! Apparently it started. So, today, if anyone is already here, I don't know how many viewers, 0 viewers, super cool. Anyway, we will start quite soon. I hope everybody is ready on the KNP team out here. I am broadcasting. So I'm sorry for the introduction. It's always a little bit slow starting. So last week we talked about mostly theoretics. I didn't want too much talking that, but 1 hour is so fast. Goes so fast. So today we will try to make a live coding session for real and like coding on the fly with no idea what we are doing. So I will share my screen, the whole desktop. There is desktopception, not a desktopception, desktopception. So I hope some people will join me because I'm starting anyway. So I created a teammate session available here. I put everything there if you want to connect via SSH, and so you can see my teammate session read-only. There's this. If you want to participate to the event, there is this, and I hope I'm on time. So this is a link to the real Hangout, and if you click on this button, you will get the YouTube stream, which has a huge lag, apparently. Anyway, so last time we ended up at the demo, and we wanted to deploy on the cloud. So what we wrote is a simple Docker Compose application, and we will see it right now. So docker compose.yaml. We have 2 services. I see someone who joined. Hello, 77204. I just know your IP. So there is this PHP service and this DB service. I hope everyone is joining before, because for the moment it's such a monologue. Still 0 viewers. That's strange. I'm alone. I feel alone. Anyway, it's recording, so I will, if you are not there, you will catch up what you missed, okay? So as I say, there is this PHP service, which is very dumb. Currently, it just uses the base image, which only contains PHP without any extension, nothing. No PHP ini file, no configuration, and I just take advantage of this built-in server to launch a long-running service on the port 8000, which I map on my host, port 8000. So this is kind of a NAT redirection. I can decide that the port 8000 will be rerouted to the port 80 of my host, which means that I can access it via localhost/80, semicolon 80. But we will keep it like that. It's simpler and not so much mind-blowing. Otherwise, we have a DB image, a DB service, which uses a Postgres image. So Postgres image is the official one that has sensible defaults. So you just have to, again, with no configuration or using the default one, you can connect to a Postgres database without any problem. But let's go a little bit deeper, because currently our PHP could ping our DB service, but it doesn't help so much. So what we're gonna do is up our services. So DCU docker compose up -d. It creates the services. If I make docker compose ps, I can see that both are running. And if now I'm going inside docker exec -it, the name, which is dive php1, and I execute bash in it, and I try to ping the service name db, they can communicate. But it doesn't help a lot. So what we will do is configure PHP to make it able to talk to PostgreSQL, like the real protocol behind PostgreSQL, and execute commands and everything, like basic shit, right? So how to do that? Well, if we go again inside PHP, we can see php-m. There is no such thing as PDO MySQL, or there is, oh yeah, there is PDO, it's built in apparently, but there is no PDO pgsql. We will need to create it. So our wish is to provision our Docker container so that it already has everything, and we don't have to remember how to provision the thing, right? It would be awesome if the image, we create an image that contains every dependency we need. This would be great. And for that, there is a already existing format with Docker file, and we just have to say to our application, well, we will create an application which is inside Symphony, because we will use a Symphony project. So Symphony / Dockerfile. Let's try that for the moment. We will move it later if it doesn't make sense. So so you can see that we run the php-7 service. So we will use this php-7. I don't know if it's a good idea because PHP7 is not yet stable. All extensions might not work. I don't even know if all the PHP extensions are compiling under PHP7. So maybe it's not the best idea to use PHP7. Maybe we should use like 5.6 for the moment. It's stable. No surprise. So we will start with 5.6. And from that, we can ask it to run something. For example, run apt-get update and apt-get install PDO. Well, we certainly need PostgreSQL client, pgsql. So let me look at some examples, because I have examples. What example do I have? I don't know. I don't know. So do we need PostgreSQL? I don't know. pgsql or libpq maybe. Maybe libpq is enough. That's a problem, you know. You need to know how to compile an extension. And there is this sweet thing that exists inside all the PHP image. If you look at, there is this Docker phpx install, and there is this enable too. I didn't know it exists, which you can see. I will use maybe vi. It exists. No, there's no such thing as vi. So you can see it's just a simple bash script that automates creation and compilation of PHP extensions. So we will use that Docker ext or Docker phpx install. I don't remember already. PDO pgsql, I think, and we will try to run this thing. So how to make it how to ask Docker Compose to execute this thing. Well, instead of using an image, you can use build here and say where, in which folder is the Docker file. So it's in Symphony, in the Symphony folder, and by default it will try to find the Docker file. So you just provide the directory. If you have a custom name for the Docker file, you can also specify it. But anyway, so now we can Docker Compose build, and we will see what's happening. So DB uses an image, indeed, so no need to rebuild an existing image, but we ask to build a new image locally for PHP, so we will create an image named prefix underscore name of the service, which is in our case dive underscore PHP. And you can see from PHP 5.6, I already have locally the PHP 5.6 image, base image, so it just, otherwise you would have pulled it. And right now it executes the first run command apt-get update and apt-get install libpq. I don't even know if this thing exists. Indeed, it doesn't seem to exist. So what we will do instead is docker run. It's a bit sad that I didn't prepare this, but I will run PHP semicolon 5.6 and try like on the fly how to do that. apt-get update. And once I have the recipe, I will copy it inside my Docker file. There is another way. You could do everything inside the image here, and then you could commit the changes using Docker commit. But that's not the best idea. The best would be to do that in a Docker file. So now I update it, apt-get install. So again, if you already have base image which have all the thing you need, just reuse it. Here we are doing it from scratch. So we know libpq doesn't exist, so apt-cache search libpq. So libpq -dev maybe. Yeah, it's maybe -dev, so let's try. I will edit the Symphony doc file. So you know the usual problem. I will try that here. So every time Docker sees there is a change in each run line or each step of the Docker file, it will rebuild it. So in case of run commands, it will detect if the last executed command changed. So for example, here we added the -dev to the end, which means you had to rebuild, which means the Docker Compose update and install, which will be created again. Oh yeah, we forgot to say -y to always answer yes. Try again. It updates again. Apparently, he downloads everything. Usual apt-get install. I see there is 4 viewers now. I don't know if you can. Oh yeah, Sylvain did join the session, which is great. It proves it works. Perfect. So we declare service, TCP implement. So we are at PHP, and then we will switch FPM. So we can see now that it does compile the pgsql extension, which is great, and it successfully built the thing. So we can try now to docker run dive underscore php bash. Okay, run it, dash it, and php-m. Do we have pgsql? We have it right now, which is great. We are on one step forward. So I remove this one. So we have PDO pgsql, which is great. Right now we can try it. And what if in php-a I made a new PDO? I need to remember the scheme for this pgsql thing. I don't remember. PDO. There is, I think, PDO SQL, pgsql. So there is a DSN somewhere, in theory. There is, in theory, it's a DSN for each thing. This is for MySQL. If anyone knows predefined constants. Well, that sucks a bit, right? I don't remember. pgsql, PDO, DSN. Well, there it is. pgsql. Okay. DB name, password. Okay. So I don't exactly remember what it is. So by default, I think let it name it dive. And this is root. Not sure exactly. Could not connect no such file or directory. So did we link var run postgresql.s? I don't know why. Ah, yeah, that's logical. We have to host equal db. Could not host in host db. Name service not now. So that's because I didn't. Yeah, that's all logical. It's all logical. I need to restart my service so that the links are done together. So you can see it creates dive php1. So I know this is quite basic, but usually that's where people have problems. So let's execute bash inside our dive php service, which now is connected to the db service because it wasn't before. You can see it pings. That's great. So we will re-execute this. php-a. Okay, root does not exist. So what it is about? So we have to look at the hub -beta maybe. Docker.com. Oh, it's now the hub only. Perfect. And we will look at Postgres. So the official Postgres you find. We have to I think there are some environment variables that permits to say which password is it or something. So default Postgres user. Okay, so there is maybe no password, simply no password. Yeah. So we just have to say no password, and the user by default is Postgres. Postgres or PostgreSQL? I don't remember already. Postgres. Database dive doesn't exist. Okay, that makes sense. We have to create it somehow. Maybe we don't have to specify it. Yep, that's great. Voila. I don't know the PDO API, but it proves that with a simple Docker file, we enable this extension, which lets us now communicate with pgsql server. Quite easily, only 2 lines of code. I don't even know if libpq is required here. I don't know, but it's not very important. So right now, let's see some more complicated stuff. So we have our Docker Compose, which create a PHP service, but we would like to make it maybe an Nginx service or something. So instead of having PHP directly serving the thing, we will now introduce Nginx. We delegate the fastCG, it's fastCG, which redirects HTTP request to a fastCG CGI server. Sorry. So the command here, we don't need a command anymore. PHP, and we introduce a new service, which is nginx, which uses image nginx. Well, we will do better. We will directly build something. So build, and we ask him to go on the docker/nginx folder to find everything it needs, maybe. So let's copy what I did already somewhere. I will copy it from a new terminal. So I'm just copying something. Workspace. Docker dive. Here. So let's look at what it looks like. There is nginx. You know what? Let's remove this Docker prefix. We'll already put it in nginx. Nginx. There is a Docker file, and we say inside. So from the default nginx image, we remove the default configuration, which we don't want, but we copy a new file inside the api.conf folder so that it's interpreted by nginx. And what's inside this api.conf is a default thing. So we allow every server name. We remove this head. We remove that. And we can just keep this. So what we do is we say for every URL, you will pass it to a fastCG server listening on port 9000, and the name of the host is PHP. That's the name of our service anyway. So that's how you resolve the host name. And that's it. We need to give him a root somehow. Root. The root is, I'm not even sure we need it really, because it usually uses that, but we will put our code inside /code or something. /code, and that's where our Symphony application will be, inside /code, inside the container. And root is /code. We ask him to put everything on stdout or stdr so that we can see easily using Docker Compose logs or Docker log everything that's happening. So our nginx theoretically is up, is okay. So let's try to run it again. So dcu or dc build, sorry, dc build. So he creates our container from our Docker file. So uses the basic nginx, removes the default config file, and adds a new one. And then he sees that PHP is already built, so using the cache, everything. Now we up services again, so that nginx is started and starts to proxy to PHP. So only problem we have is that our PHP service, if you look at Docker Compose, so we don't need to export any port anymore, but here we need. So port 80, on the port 80. because I think Nginx listens on port 80. Yeah. So right now we need PHP to be a phpfpm server, which is different, but not that different because you just have to use phpfpm image, which is exactly the same, but expect it adds the phpfpm package from Debian. So let's build again, and we will detect how it works. Oh, PHP. Oh yeah, maybe that's PHP dash fpm. So that's the name of the tag. So I didn't use phpfpm 6 yet. Apparently I used the previous version, 5.5 or something. So it downloads the thing, so my computer is slow, so no worry. Once it's downloaded for every container, so it's cached locally. So each layer is downloaded and then extracted, so that it creates a final overlay file system. So it's kind of yeah, many masks, many layers, making a final single file system hierarchy. Anyway, so we will soon have our FPM. We will hope that Nginx talks correctly to the FPM service, and we still need something. We need some code to execute. So how can we do that? So we go inside our Symphony thing, and we can create a web/app.php, and let me use an already existing PHP thing, I hope. Web/app.php. Yes. Good. So we ask him to require the vendor autoload and usual stuff. Except you don't have yet kernel or anything, so we will return. We will die. Hello. Hey Jeremy, you are here. Well, you know already the stuff, right? So let's try and see if our phpfpm is not yet compiled. As I said, my computer is not the best. It's at the last step, which is executing. Okay, perfect. Now we up the services once it's in order that our running services uses the latest build image. Oh yeah, port 80 is already allocated. That's because I already have some Nginx somewhere. So I will use port, I don't know, 81. Oops. Control A for those Vim users. Okay. So now Nginx did not seem to like it a lot. It already exited. So let's look at the logs. dcl Nginx Docker Compose logs. Host not found in upstream named PHP. That's because we didn't make a link. So we need links for PHP. So Nginx knows how to talk to PHP, and PHP knows how to talk to DB. So DCU again, we up everything. DCP. Okay, DCU -- force we create. There is a bug somewhere. It doesn't detect that I added a link. It's fixed in the latest version, but I didn't upgrade yet. So it's now all up. So let's try curl localhost /121 find not found. That's really bash. Oh no, that's yeah. That's Nginx. The beautiful message of Nginx. Sometimes Nginx sucks a lot, and my config too. But it doesn't detect anything in /code/index.php, which is logical in fact. And by the way, it should be web/php/app or something. So right now we need our container to contain the file we want to execute. So if we ask, we didn't ask, by the way, anything to this. So we should ask app.php to be run or something. It's the same problem again. So this is a configuration problem we need to fix. We need to fix it anyway, using Docker or not. Except there are some existing recipes which do it well. So let's see a first solution in order to make our files available inside our container. This solution could be using volumes, but we will see later that volumes are not the best idea, but at least it's easy and fast during the development part. So volumes are a way to mount a folder inside your container. Some kinda, it's as easy as that. So we can say that /Symphony, which is Symphony will be mounted inside /code, right? So inside our PHP service, we will mount the Symphony folder inside the /code folder. So we can try DCU mapping semicolon ambiguous. We should what? Oh yeah, / indeed. Let me update it again. So maybe that was not that, right? I don't know. Symphony. I hope I didn't do anything strange. Yeah, I killed the container just in the middle. So it creates a thing. We will wait for it to see. But you can see right now that our local Symphony folder, which contains a web/app, will be mounted in /code. So we need to make this mapping in our head, and everything. For example, the ingenix API, we need to say it to go on /code/web/app in order to find the web folder which is inside our Symphony folder. Right? We need to make a mapping in our head. So let's hope it works. It doesn't seem to like it a lot. So maybe I should ram all the things, and I will do that, but only docker compose ps-q. There is this warning which bothers me. It's not logical because it should be /Symphony semicolon code. I don't know why. Shit. So I will kill them. Hope it works like that. Of course not. So I will have to do it by hand a little bit. Sorry for that. What? Docker kill? Oh, docker -rm. I want to run them. So I'm doing a bit of shitty stuff, I'm sorry. Okay, apparently it's okay, so let's try to DCU again. Not sure why it does some crazy stuff here. You know what? I will remove all my containers for everything. Yeah, I did some crazy stuff apparently because it cannot destroy some containers. Anyway. That's a demo problem, right? So DRM is a simple alias which says Docker. I list all the identifiers, all the containers that exist inside my host, and I pass it to remove. So alias DRM. It's quite a very violent command. Docker ps, all the IDs, and I pass it each of them to docker rm-fv. So right now my my host is fully clean. There is no more container in it. So I create again the services. I'm sorry for a problem, which is I didn't prepare anything. So okay, mounting into slash is prohibited. That's nice, right? I have a problem, and I'm not sure why. PHP, I want to mount the volume. Oh, I forgot it's an array. So dumb. There is in this YAML syntax, I forgot. Sorry. Now it's better. I forgot the dash. So with a little bit of luck, if we ask him, he says file not found. That's so bad, right? Maybe because I need to put in web folder or something. Oh, I don't know. So let me filter the log to only show PHP and nginx, and we will see what they say when I curl localhost. So nginx says primary script unknown, so that's common problem, but I don't have a magical solution to that. So he tried to send the fastcg request to PHP. PHP say 404 for /web/app, maybe, okay. Oh, because maybe it should be /code, I don't know. So yeah, nginx and PHP doesn't detect this /web. I sure forgot something. Primary script unknown. So that's nginx config problem, surely. So I say him root /code. Oh yeah, /web maybe. That's hard to detect, right? I'm not really sure every time. Let me look at my existing project just to detect what I done wrong. No, it should be okay. Maybe it was a root problem. So let me build again. This build. So we don't have to build anything, only nginx. So we can limit. So we create nginx with a modified config. So every time you modify a file like this one, you need to build the nginx command again, unless you want to mount a volume in it, which is, as I said, not the best. And DCU again. So it creates back nginx DCP. It's up. Let's try that with curl. Hello. So that was it. That was a root. My configuration hit root /code/web. I forgot the web. So that's great. Now let's see the serious stuff, like how to do how to use Symphony inside my stuff. So let's see. We have this Symphony folder, which doesn't contain anything yet, but we will require composer require Symphony /Symphony, because it's we're crazy. We are using the whole stack, right? So using 2.7, I will go inside my Symphony and prepare file. No, web app.php. Hopefully there is already vendor autoload. There will be everything here. Kernel. We will use a real namespaced kernel. So we installed it. Now, what we need to do inside Symphony, src, oops, what did I do? Oh yeah, src/app/symphony. I'm creating my own kernel, but I already have a kernel somewhere. it? Ooh, start to be slow. Up, kernel. So I received a message. Okay. It's going so fast. It's already 40 minutes past, and we didn't see all the thing I wanted to see. So let me find an existing app kernel just for the fun. Register bundles, register things. Yeah. Where is my app kernel? Here. So you can see I make yes, create it. I have some crazy stuff here. I just want that. I don't even know if Doctrine bundle is installed by default. Anyway, maybe I should have used the Symphony Standard Edition. It would have been more logical, right? So let me revert. Sorry for that. I should have used the Symphony Standard Edition. Composer create project Symphony. I'm not using the official installer. Some people won't like it, but anyway. I hope that's the name. Nope. Search Symphony Standard. Oh. Framework Standard Edition, right? Did I make something wrong? Composer. Or maybe I create a project which is inside PHP. Maybe I should have given a name or something. Oh yeah, right, there is ascetic and everything. So db build Postgres. Dive, sorry. User Postgres. Okay, it's in TMP, RAM, ref, web, mv tmp slash star inside dot. Okay, we have theoretically. I do some crazy and useless shit, I'm sorry. So let's try again. Our curl thing. Unable to create a cache. Code app cache pro. Oh yeah, that's a configuration problem. sudo chmod. For the moment I will be brutal. And I will do that in app cache prod, app cache dev. Oh yeah, that's because, okay. And logs too, because I should use, when I curl, use app dev here. Why is it prod? Oh yeah, that's because or Nginx API, always use app.php. I should make it dynamic, but who cares, right? So we always have some problems, but at least we can see that our solution, which is to mount the Symphony folder inside our container, works. But it won't work if we want to deploy this thing on the cloud, because my Symphony folder is not available to everyone. So another idea is, instead of using volumes, is to go inside the Docker file and say to copy dot inside /code /, which means that it will copy everything which is inside this folder, and what's inside this folder is our app, src, vendor, and web. So this makes a huge amount of data, right? If we look at the size of current folder, 60 mega, so 60 megabytes to upload every time you make a modification. It will upload the current context. So the build context is it's a folder in which the Docker file is executed. So in our case, this folder, and it will upload 60 megabytes to the remote server, and we can verify that, or 60 megabyte plus. So docker build dot, and we can see that it uploads the context inside. So apparently maybe he compresses it or something, because if I look at my folder is 60 megabytes big, and he uploads 40 megabytes, so which means he maybe compresses it, sends it over the wire to the Docker daemon. The Docker daemon then executes the steps of the Docker file inside this directory. But what we can control what is uploaded. So we can say inside Symphony we have a .docker ignore, which is almost like a git ignore, except it's used for upload, for ignoring to upload some files. So let's edit it, and let's say we don't want to send vendor. And what happening? It only sends 80 kilobytes. You see that the time to build our image, it's about half a second to upload all our files and build the image, which is okay. But we don't have the vendors anymore, which is a little bit shitty. So what we can do is to go inside the Docker file and execute the composer install command during the building of the thing. So here we copy the code, and then we ask him to execute the vendors, and we will see one step ahead, which is to copy the composerjson file, and which permits to leverage the cache capabilities of the Docker file. So if a step is already executed, it won't execute it twice. And what takes long is composer install. The rest is very fast. So we can try to avoid executing composer install every time there is a change, and this will allow us to rebuild the image in half a second. And this can be a great idea, and it helps portability of the image, which will allows us to execute this locally or inside a virtual machine somewhere in the cloud, and we can use the same image to work locally or to deploy, which is great. So how to do that? Let's take a look again to an existing project. So don't look too hard, because it's so inside the Docker file I do some stuff. and I install some libraries needed for composer install. So for example, I don't need that. I don't need that. I don't need xdebug. I don't need that. PDO, pgsql. So we need zip, string, intel maybe. Oops. So zip, it's for composer to work. Yeah, for composer. MB string, intl. Hopefully that's all. What did I say again? Oh yeah, and the apt-get update here. So we can put it on many lines using this backslash. So zlib is to unzip, git, libecu is for intl, we don't need it, g++ maybe to compile something, lib font config, why would I need that, libxender, don't need that, OpenSSH, maybe, no, not need that neither. So we just need maybe a compiler, git, and zlib. And even git, I'm not sure, so we'll remove it. Okay, I think that's it. So we install everything needed for composer to work. We inside pgsql zip. We don't need that. We don't need that. So yeah, I will make some place so that you see. We install composer, and we don't need that. We don't need that. And we will copy composer.json and composer.log inside /code/ and then we composer install, and then we copy the code, the real code, which means that if the composer.json didn't change, this step will not be, it will be cached, so it will not re-execute the thing. And this command, since it didn't change, it will be only executed once. So if you want this command to be executed for real, either you make docker build -- no cache, which will re-execute all the steps, even the apt-get install, or you can simply say v = 1, and every time you install a new dependency, v = 2, 3, and 4. That's a possibility. But for the moment, we don't judge anything. We will do that like that. So now there is a problem, and we will see why Symphony standard is too much big monolith. It's because composer.json, and that's a problem with all packager which tries to be too smart, like npm, which has a scripts command which allows a package manager to execute like some scripts. It's not logical. So composer.json has some stuff it does on post install. So you see it does a lot of stuff. It's like Composer became a provisioning tool or something, right? There is something wrong here, because in order for this command to work, we need all the dependencies, but we would like, and we need also a working app kernel and stuff, because some of these make some install assets. Install assets needs a working app kernel, so that's clearly a problem. Clear cache too is a problem. We don't have any cache yet, so why would you build it? So what I propose is to remove all the stuff here. Makes our stuff easier, and we don't mix responsibilities. So Composer is not a provisioning tool. It doesn't clear cache, right? If you want to clear cache, you use like a real deployment tool to clear the cache. That's wrong. Composer is meant to install, and stuff like Ansible is meant to clear the cache, or to I don't know what's provisioning or deployment tool you use, but anything will do, but not Composer. So by removing the scripts thing, we can now ask to install the vendors without having any application yet, which is great. So let's try again. Disable PHP, and it's almost the end of our talk. So fast, I'm sorry, but I think here we can see all the problems that that we have with Docker files. It's not very easy to make a working recipe. We could reuse like Ansible recipes or stuff like that. So what we should do instead is inside our Docker file, we just have to run install Ansible, for example, and then we copy the Ansible roles and stuff, roles and configuration inside /Ansible, for example, and then we run Ansible playbook stuff, and it would do automatically. We could reuse all the recipes that exist already inside the Ansible galaxy to do everything of this stuff. So it's up to you. Either you use Ansible inside one of the steps, or you do everything by hand using run commands. You decide. But it's possible to reuse Ansible with Docker and to reuse a lot of different things. Same with Chef or something. But I prefer to use old school bash commands, right? It's easier. No, it's not easier, but at least you know what you're doing. So it didn't found my command. Oh yeah, that's because I did some wrong stuff. So I don't know who is still there. 2 viewers. There are not been a lot of questions, but if you have questions, guys, don't hesitate. So unfortunately, we didn't finish totally the thing, but we saw the two possibilities: either using a volume or copying all the files inside our container, or last step we are looking right now, it's just to ask the Docker file to create an image containing all the vendors and sources, and to copy only the sources but not the vendors with it. So when Docker creates the image, it installs the vendors, and every time there is a change, it just copies the source files. And using that, you will be faster. Last step is, once you have this, you would like to make it automatically, so every time there is a change in your sources, it rebuilds and up the Docker Compose again. So for that, you could use a Gward file. So again, I will copy paste one I used already, a Gward file. So it uses Gward, obviously, /Gward file. So what it does, so Gward is a watcher. It uses Linux like e-notify tools and stuff like that, and we observe some folders. Currently we only have src. So every time there is a thing, we can ask him, for example, to rebuild the C tags, which is great for my Vim configuration, but also we can ask him to build only what we want. We know that if there is a src change, we don't want to build nginx and lose time. You just want to build PHP, which will be faster. And Docker Compose up, PHP. And using that, and same for him. Using that, you can easily have a like a automatic, quasi instantaneous setup, which uses no volume, which means it will work remotely. So remember last time Oh, I had a problem with this. Last time we wanted to use Docker machine to deploy on the cloud our application. So we created Docker machine, create, and we created a machine on Amazon EC2. So right now we can use it. So what we do, and you will see it's a bit like boot to Docker, which is superseded by this tool, by the way. So we can eval Docker machine dive. And you will see that all the commands were running, like DC build, Docker compose up, Docker compose logs, and everything. We were discussing with our local daemon. But right now we can use Docker machine of name of the machine. And what it does, what it does is simply export some environment variables saying, please communicate not with the local Docker daemon running on my local host, but communicate with this remote daemon which is running on Amazon. And so right now I evaled all these environment variables, which means they are in my environment. And if now I make the Docker PS or the Docker Compose PS, it will talk to the remote server. And if we curl, so let me look at the DM IP dive. So to get is IP, and I curl $dm equal dive slash semicolon 81 slash no, nothing, 8000. That's running. You can see he answers me. So that's the last version I deployed last week, but it's the same thing. So right now, everything I was building locally and everything, I can ask my remote machine to do that on the cloud, which is very faster. You look at how fast it will download the image. It's very faster. That's because it's a micro AWS machine, so it's still not that fast. There is only 1 GB RAM, but the network is good. And you can see there is no difference. He uploaded the context the exact same way, and he built the image the exact same way, and he mounts the volume. It doesn't have to mount the volume, hopefully, because it's not in the same machine, so that's why it's not a good idea to use volumes. But you can see he executes everything. Compilation is faster too. So you can almost, like if you are locally, but working on a remote machine, and that's a great idea. And you can have different machine, one for production, one for demonstration, and one for local dev, for example, and it will work the same. And if you want a different configuration or a different compose.yaml file per server or per machine, you can too, using the export compose project file. So if you say compose file equal some other YAML file, he will use this file instead of the default Docker compose file, docker compose.yaml, which is a great way to make some differences. Like in local dev environment, I want to use volumes, but in prod, I wanted to copy all the file inside the image and build it. So that's a very easy way to have different behaviors depending on the environment. And using all these different tricks I gave you, I think it's an okay way to work. And you can also look at the amount of code we needed to. So if we make a tree of, no need to make a tree, right? All of this was available using 2 Docker files, which are very, very straightforward, and a single Docker compose file, which is also very small for the moment. There is not a lot to make. We could add new services like Redis or others. But the great thing is that we declared our dependencies and the system requirements once and for all. So if in 2 years or something you are asked to maintain an application and you go back there and you now have PHP 7 installed, of course, because in 2 years it will be almost deprecated, right? But you won't have a PHP 5.6 anymore. So how do you will pass hours to debug your configuration and stuff like that? So you could say me, okay, Vagrant is also a solution for that. Indeed, it's a solution. But this declarative way to do it is a great way to be sure that in 2 years your project requirements are freezed in stone and you can come back and it will work, hopefully still work. It's still better than what we do currently with not freezing dependencies and having global setups and stuff like that. So being able to use a different PHP image locally, it's a good idea, without having to install a new Vagrant or VMbox or VirtualBox machine. So we are already past 2 p.m. It was very fast. I'm sorry I can't follow my guide. I wanted to discuss what PHPFPM we did, Nginx we did, Varnish we didn't install, PostgreSQL we did. We didn't see a lot of it, but anyway, Redis. I wanted to install a RabbitMQ, which is a nice example of how to make them communicate, all those different services. ZMQ to make them communicate would be funny. But we didn't have time to see everything. Anyway, that's all, folks. If you have questions, I'd be pleased to hear them or criticize anything. So if you have questions, don't hesitate. You can ask them on the event page or something. Maybe you did and I didn't see them. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed it, and see you, I don't know when, see you next time, I hope. I think that's the end, right? I will ask Eve what she thinks about that. Ah, Eve! Okay, so let me tell you bye-bye, and see you soon. Ciao.